Hi, my name is Lynn Felder, and I am here this morning with Quentin Jackson, my friend. We are Lynn and Quen doing coffee talk. Today we're at Coffee Park Airstream in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Tommy Priest is the owner, and he says that this is a community-focused coffee shop. Quentin, tell us about yourself.
My name is Quen Jackson. I have an apparel company, QJackson Apparel Company. You can find me on Instagram at QJackWorld. I'm also on Facebook, QJackson Apparel Company. You can Google QJackson Apparel Company. Website is QJacksonApparelCompany.com. We also make collegiate apparel. Go to the website and order, just support.
We met each other because you called me about doing an article on you, and I said, who is this guy? What does he do? Why should I do an article on him? Which is what I always say. And he, because I'm an arts reporter, and he said that he made shirts. The cool thing is that you got into being a businessman by being an artist first, and it usually happens the other way.
I was a student at Winston State University, and I was an art major. Nobody wants to be a starving artist, you know. That's what you see a lot. So I was like, let me put my art on shirts. The art club got me into, like you said, the business side because I had to do a lot of paperwork as far as starting the club. To see something you put work in become. And I think that's what I got addicted to.
Yeah, and so it was fun to get people, to tell people your idea and have them say, oh, that sounds cool, to like get people on board. So that's like the artist as leader piece. So you told people your ideas and they thought it was a good idea, and you got to see people respond and react and cooperate.
You always think, say the worst, or you think down on yourself, and it's always better. So now I'm addicted to doing things because I already know it's going to be better than what I even thought.
Because something's going to happen. You can make things happen.
Yeah, I fell in love with the business side. You know, working with people, meeting people like you know, Raheem with Roletape, meeting good people, working with good people, coming together for my brand and their brands, and seeing what everybody else got going on. You know, he thinks differently. He thinks like me, or she thinks like me. So that's what I love about it.
They've got a vision and they've got agency. They believe they can do something, they can make a difference. That's a big thing. I was in my early 30s when I figured out that I wanted to be a journalist. It took me all through my 20s to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. I had a misspent youth, as they say. But when I figured out part of the way I figured out I wanted to be a journalist, it was two things. One was I started believing in my own point of view. I just looked around and I thought, my point of view is just as valid as anybody else's. I mean, I'm a little quirky, but still, it's my point of view. And the other piece of it was I just loved looking around and seeing what was going on and telling people about it. That was a combination of sort of like my point of view and what's happening. And so how I see the world is just as valid as anybody else's. I want to chronicle our time. I want to leave a record behind of what's happening. They call journalism the first draft of history. It needs more than one. You need more than one point of view.
Especially before the whole, you know, the TV and radio, that was all you had. That was how you got your news. If it wasn't that newspaper, you ain't nobody.
So last year when the COVID started, I started working from home. They laid off 8 people from the newsroom. So that's 8 people out of 25 gone. So I just did a pivot and started doing other things and got into this other class called Creative Catalyst. And in that class, I met a person named Solomon Caldwell, who was a recent School of the Arts graduate, and we started collaborating on a play called Our Time, and that turned into a whole thing, which we're going to present at Milton Road Center for the Arts in June. So that's what I got going on.
That's a lot going on.
That was a year
And how was that process?
Well, I like it. I'm not a big planner. I'm more of a plunger than a planner. I kind of jump into stuff. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. There's a thing in business that they call fail fast. So just go ahead and try the thing and see if the thing works. And I also sort of believe spiritually that if things are meant to happen, that the people show up, you know. So I got the idea for how the play was going to go in a conversation with my collaborator Solomon, and we were talking about the political things that are going on. We're talking about how people can't seem to talk to each other if they don't have the same political views, and why not? And he said something like, well, I probably have more in common with a small town conservative than I do with a big city Democrat. And sort of pinged in my head, that's the story. That we can be politically very different, but on a human level, we're amazingly alike. That's the important stuff.
Yeah.
It's this politics, that's just noise.
You're right.
So
you're right. I'm in a great spot right now because hopefully we open up. The university was a big part of my business before COVID. I really wasn't focusing on the QJack part, but now I am focusing on the QJack part a little bit more. Mainly because COVID showed me how much I depended on universities. So with universities about to open back up, preparing for the fall, I added a couple schools, Wake Forest, Elon, Jackson State. So I'm excited to do things, for them.
So events are important to you for selling your school branded.
Yes, events are very important. More people, when it comes to university, a lot of times a person wants to buy the apparel to wear to a game or to wear to a university event. So whenever university event, a lot of people just don't buy their college to sit around the house. Like pajamas. Some do, but more so, I'm going to this Wake Forest football game. I need a shirt. I need a shirt.
Yeah.
I don't care how much it costs. I need a shirt. The universities, the activities go on campus, the homecomings, everything. It revolves around apparel. It revolves around my business. So for me, I'm excited. It's going to be a great year. College is going to be at all-time high as far as school spirit for everybody. So it's a good time right now. I'm excited to be, a collegiate licensed brand.
Cool. But in the slow time, you were pushing out the QJack brand a little bit more, and so that caused you to diversify. And that's always a good thing.
So it's always good and bad. So definitely, I got a chance to focus on the QJack more. I got a chance to do a lot more videos because everybody was online. You couldn't go nowhere.
Right.
So you have to do videos with Roletape. Put them out there, YouTube, promote them, let people see you, mini commercials, different things like that. So we found ways to survive.
Well, what's next for you?
Oh, what's next? I want this QJack thing is gonna be big. I got some good ideas for QJack, and it's crazy. Like we were saying, it's always good and bad. I fell in love with the QJack a little bit more because I got so much more freedom with it. I don't have to get permission to make certain things for the universities. They have to approve everything. But with QJack, I can go diverse, gender friendly, anything. Long hair, short hair, I can go anything with QJack. The first collection is just going to be the QJack collection. And the second collection is going to be a North Carolina collection. Maybe 5 or 6 shirts of the biggest cities in the state. It'd be a Charlotte shirt, a Raleigh shirt, a Durham shirt, a Fayetteville shirt, a Winston-Salem shirt, of course, and maybe one more. That's 5 right there. So maybe one more, and each shirt will have a hat. And that'll be my North Carolina collection.
Oh, cool.
So we got some good ideas, but like I say, you can get more creative with the QJack. Then we can think about how we go promote it, how we go market it, who we go get there. So it's gonna be fun.
So it's kind of a full circle thing where you come and you went from the art to the business, and now you're circling back around to the art.
Because you got the freedom to create what you want to. So all this time I was just creating, which I didn't know that, but I was just creating an avenue where I could create, freely. My belief, I like for great people to do what they can do. When you in business, you gotta take time to educate yourself. They so busy to get the money, and wonder why they slip and fall.
Right.
No, educate yourself. Take your time. Patience is key.
But the goal of the play, it's called Our Time, A Conversation in Black and White. And the goal of the play was really to just play out a conversation that people find difficult to have. When I believe this way and you believe this way, it's kind of hard to get to the middle. But so I wanted to play up what these people had in common.
And what's the day that's coming out?
It's June the 10th through the 12th. It's at the Arts Council of Winston-Salem and Forsyth County Reynolds Place Theater. And you can get tickets. Tickets are free, but you need to register for them, and they are at intothearts.org.
I'm gonna get mine today. I gotta go get mine today. So I'm definitely gonna be there, and I know it's gonna be great, and I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm excited.
Me too.
I think it's gonna be really good. So Lynn, what is your why?
My why. So why did I write a play? Why this play? Why now? I grew up in the Jim Crow South, and I didn't really have words as a child for what I saw going on around me. I saw separate restrooms, I saw separate water fountains, and I would ask my parents about it, and they couldn't tell me. And I saw the way people were treated, and I didn't like it, but when you're 8 years old, there's not much you can do about it. I didn't have the words then, but I got a lot of words now. And so now is the time for us to finish what we started in the 60s. There was an awakening of people's consciousness, but it was kind of unsustainable. I think people were not grounded enough in reality. They didn't know how to bring the peace and love home for good. I don't think bad feelings are ever going to go away completely, but I think that there's a lot that we can do right now if we have the courage to talk to each other and to reach out to each other and to tell our stories and listen to each other. Just a little bit. It's the listening that's hard, I think,
100%. 100%.
So I'm hoping that the play, Our Time, A Conversation in Black and White, will help people open their minds and open their hearts just a little crack so that the light and the love can get in. We can do it.
Yes, ma'am. It's always great talking to you.
You too, Quentin.
Always great talking to you.
Great to see you.